lead guest today is a former House Speaker who's been through this many times. Kevin McCarthy, good morning to you, and thanks for coming back.
Good morning.
I want to read you an opinion piece out of USA Today, all right? Democrats look ready to cave on their shutdown while Trump stays above the fray. Democrats may like to tempt voters with taxpayer-paid freebies, but it's a bad deal for Americans. She continues. Republicans aren't likely to budge on this, and they shouldn't. In the end, Democrats will only succeed in reinforcing the view the country already holds, that they are weak. They're going to cave? We've been saying that for weeks. Hasn't happened.
Well, look, I call this shutdown the Seinfeld shutdown because it's really about nothing. It is Schumer having political pressure. Now, I believe it's about to end. You're having early signs of it. The largest government employee union has now asked them to pass the continuing resolution. You've got the election November 4th coming. I think right after that election, Schumer will then lift and take this pain away because maybe Democrats have a good night, but he doesn't want to do anything before that election to disturb it. He will then have the record for the longest shutdown. So if it's about nothing and just his weakness in political leadership, he could say he did that and move on. But too many people are being hurt now. It's gone on way too long. It's not about anything, which makes it more difficult to get out. So that's why coming after November 4th, the 5th or the 6th, I see as an opportunity that
okay, so we'll put you down for about another week. Here's J.D. Vance, the vice president, on exactly that point. Watch here.
Here is our very simple proposal to the Democrats. Let's sit down and come to a compromise and work it out. And you know what the Democrats' response to that is? Give us everything we want or we're going to shut down the government and keep it shut down. That is not reasonable behavior. That's not how you do compromise in this town.
How about this idea? If the issue is Obamacare credits and health care subsidies, why not go ahead and open the government back up again? Because you're going to have Republicans are going to have to come to an agreement as to what they find acceptable for health care subsidies. And then the voters ultimately are going to decide whether or not they like the outcome. And next November will tell us whether or not Democrats were right on this fight or Republicans. How about that?
That's very true. And that debate is really for later in this year. And you have Republicans on the record saying they would keep some of those. They want it modified. And that's really where the negotiations should go. You've got a willing White House willing to negotiate. You've got Republicans willing to negotiate. They're keeping what the viewer has to understand. A continuing resolution is simply keeping government open the way it is while you work through the appropriations process. And for some reason, the Democrats say no. It goes all back to, you look at Schumer, he voted for this 13 times, but he got a lot of political pressure when the other party's in power. Look, I've been on the other side of the aisle of this. I watched the Republicans do this by a mistake in 13. We gained nothing from it, and we were able to come back even after that.
Quickly on this, do they take up the filibuster idea on behalf of the commander-in-chief? Think that's going to fly?
You know, I have a fear that's actually what Schumer wants, because it makes him not having to make a political decision. I think after this election, November 4th, there's a perfect opportunity for everybody to sit down, open this government back up. You really watch the polls. The public is beginning to see that it's probably the weakest Democrat leadership we ever had in Schumer and Hakeem. And you're going to watch in this election new people get elected further to the left. And they're fearful for their jobs, and I think people are going to move beyond them.
As someone once said, elections have consequences, and we will find out come Wednesday morning.
Yes, they do.
Thank you, sir. Kevin McCarthy, thanks for coming back.